What's going on, everyone? So we are officially back from South Dakota. We just got back from our trip all the way out to Mount Rushmore in the Black Hills. Our four-seater Z made it great. Only issue was that tire mishap that we had due to a bad tie rod. However, if you guys have watched the channel previously, you would see that car was going to be our drift car. We just had this twin turbo motor in it, NATT. We're not going to get into all that. Same thing, more or less. But I can't bring myself to drift this car. It's too nice. I mean, especially after this trip, we got the interior all set back up. Even my dog likes it. So I'm kind of on the fence. I really don't want to hurt that car yet. So with that being said, we've had this car here that we purchased really to just flip and make some money on. However, after just finding a couple things that there's going to be a lot of work to really go through and finish out on this, not to mention the price that I got it for, you really just can't beat it. But this is going to be our new drift car. And this video, we're going to be dropping the motor. Now that we've got the engine up on the stand, I went ahead and pulled this timing cover off just to inspect our belt. So far, the belt looks good. So this oil filter bracket or sandwich plate is looking pretty greasy. Other than that, I'm really not seeing anything. I mean, here on the back side it's fine. This up here is wet, but no valve cover leak. Side of the valve, or the head, is clean. No signs of any leak going all the way back. Manifold's dry on the top side. I don't know. From the way it's looking, I may just pull the turbos. Check to see kind of what the turbos are looking like. If maybe they're just super wet and whatnot. So I'm thinking is maybe they're leaking through the seal. Let's look at this side. That is absolutely filthy. It's none under the manifold. It looks like there's an old drip there. That's not what I can see up here. No signs of a leak. No signs over here. Dry, half moon dry. However, exhaust is dry. The underside of the turbo is soaked. Maybe we'll go ahead and pull this elbow off. We'll kind of see what it looks like in there before we actually pull the whole turbo. There is a, no, it's turning slightly, but there's a significant amount of play in this one. So that being said, this was the side that was really bad. Propeller doesn't look bad. However, this one's audible. This is play this way. Has zero play side to side, but in and out. Yeah, that's not good. So I think we're safe to say maybe those seals were bad and all the boost pressure was blowing PCV oil. Well, PCV oil, like blow by. You can see in here that reflection is oil. So we're getting quite a bit of blow by. So I'm thinking maybe just the turbos are bad. We may be able to get away with just swapping turbos and sending it. So being we have propeller damage on both sides, we're going to get to pulling these turbos off, disconnect everything from them, get them stripped down so we can convert our lines and stuff over to our other turbos. I wonder where I can find some turbos. Oh, there's some turbos. Wow, that was fairly easy. Not sure how well you can tell, but the past hour or so I've spent was not really spent as efficiently as I would have liked. However, we did get this turbo switched over. This is a manual turbo, and it has it has far less shaft play than this turbo did. Both of our turbo piping is on. I got that torque down. I think we're actually not going to get to this tonight. I remembered I am doing a PCV delete. We're all set for tomorrow. We can get our turbo on, get the rest of this dressed up, get it set so that way we can hopefully get it dropped in the car tomorrow. Catch you guys tomorrow. So it's the next day. There's our old turbo. We went ahead and just got this one switched on. We got everything hooked up. All the coolant lines are routed. The downpipe is on. Now we're about to work on the boost controller, vacuum lines, get those squared away and equal length as possible, as some of them broke on removal. Right now, we just pulled out our PCV valve or PCV elbow. We're going to pull this one out as well. And in the process here, I've got a couple 5/8 freeze plugs. As you can see, it's correct fit. Clean it up so we can put a little bit of ultra gray RTV on it, so that way we can seal it a little bit, just as a preventative measure at least. So it's been a couple hours. I haven't got done as much as I would have liked to do, because in the midst I've had other things I've had to tackle, like people trespassing in my woods, and I don't know, just it's kind of annoying when you're dealing with something like that every single day from the same people, just bad neighbors. Anyways, since everything's all plumbed up, ready to go, we're all tightened, torqued down, went ahead through the plenum on, and my idle air control. I routed everything, got my boost controller hoses all set up, so that should be all fine. We grabbed our 2 caps that we can use for our PCVs on our intake plenum. We just went and grabbed this, which is 5/8 by 6 foot. I'm not entirely sure how much you need, but we're gonna grab at least another 2 of them, so we have a full 18 foot, but I'd like to get 4, so that way we have 24 foot. I know there's no way we're using 24 foot of hose, but since they're in 6 foot sections, if I can at least cut one in half, I think we'll be good to go. We'll say this often, but shout out to AutoZone for having what I needed today. Got all the hose in Grant County, so sounds funny. Oh, well, I didn't know that. I guess the county strip club changed its name. Gross. So about 4 hours later, I've been getting all my shipping orders and stuff done, so I can try to make some room, free up some cash so we can move on with a few things. However, we're here. What we've done, we've got these couple sections. I've just got these looped across until I know how to cut, or if I need to get one more of these. I've got these plumbed up here with a hose clamp. These are kind of big compared to the actual pipe, so I kind of just snug the hose clamp up really tight, and I think it'll be fine, especially if that's what was recommended for the procedure. Then I'm sure it'll work. The hose clamp up really tight, and I think it'll be fine, especially if that's what was recommended for the procedure. Then I'm sure it'll work. But now, yeah, it's way less foggy, sorry about that. Now what we're gonna do, since this went in that far, that doesn't make me feel great. I may just put another one in it, and this one should be fine. If anything, I'll just layer the next one up with RTV, and I will just tap it in right here and not force it all the way in like I did the last one, because probably wasn't the best idea. Sorry if you don't like the whole bandana thing, but I don't want to walk all the way up to the house to get a hat, and it's very warm out here today. Power steering pump's already in the car, so we don't have to worry about that. Got the chains ready. Gonna pick it up, put our clutch, flywheel, and dust shield on, and get this ready to where we can start working on our bay. Hopefully get this dropped today. Looking like I misplaced my adapter from 1/2 inch to 3/4 or 3/8, sorry. So now we're on a journey for that, so we can put this on. So now that our engine's all ready to drop in, what we're going to do before we drop it in is we're going to get a couple miscellaneous brackets, like for our clutch lines and brackets for our engine harness, bolt our wiper control module down, and tuck the rest of our harness out the way, drop the engine in. That I did have another one. So what we're just going to do, we're going to take some electrical tape, rewrap it, because this thing is literally disgusting, because there's a power steering leak on it, and it's all fraying everywhere. So it turns out the little piece of solder I had was under my phone, and it was just enough to add this oil pressure sensor to the other wiring harness that I have. That was the only plug that was missing. I just chopped it off the other one because, well, I just threw away the one that was from this. I kept kicking it around the floor the past week or so. So yesterday I was like, screw it, we're throwing it away. Now we're gonna put this on real quick and see about dropping it in the car. About to storm, we've got thunder going on, and I want to get this done tonight, so that way when I have to do the rest, it's all easy going and kind of like a breath of fresh air. So we've got the engine back in, so what we're going to do now is just pull everything out, get so we can push the car out, and we'll close all this up, come back to it tomorrow. Hopefully we don't get too much rain, because I am ready to finish this thing. I'm ready to put some work in and get it done, because I've got a ton of stuff to do. I am way behind. Good morning, everyone. So we had something happen last night. Instead of getting started on this right away, just want to give you guys a little bit of background. We went to go to Rally's last night to eat for dinner, and it was already pretty late. We drive, take the back way. Right when we get to Rally's, literally the stoplight right before, it's like my clutch loses all pressure. Discovered we have full fluid, but right now the clutch is staying up because I pumped it slightly. If I pump it, I get pressure again. So maybe I have a clutch line that's getting warm, that's not working when it gets hot. But what I don't understand is, wouldn't that have happened somewhere along my trip before coming back? I mean, I don't know. That just, you can see that little braided line back there. It does not come in contact with the exhaust whatsoever. Over here you can see it loop down, and it's not touching the exhaust. This is weird. I just went ahead and plugged in our transmission alternator harness. Got our coil packs on. They're not torqued or nothing, they're just kind of tight on there. So what we're going to do now, I just remembered laying the fuel rail out, that we've got an adjustable fuel pressure regulator that's going to go on this. Do have a new fuel filter, so we'll replace that while we're in here. Probably won't mess with the clutch system until it gives out, and we'll just fix it accordingly and upgrade to a one-piece line next year. Now I think what we're going to do, we're going to get the car lifted up to where we can get under it, get some blocks under it, and get to putting the transmission under it. It's actually a little sketch. I've got a brick, and I've got like a piece of wood wedged behind the other back wheel. But this has no e-brake, nothing to put it in gear, no transmission, drive shaft, any of that. So it literally could roll off of this at any time. So here's to not getting crushed. But first, what we have to do, we have got to find a suitable transmission that we can use. So finally just got back and got everything shipped out. So what I've discovered here on the transmission, or at least not what I've discovered, the way to tell what kind of transmission you have without checking the bell housing measurements, you can pull this out, your speed sensor. If it has a blue gear, it's twin turbo. If it has a red gear, it's NA. It's a pretty quick and easy way to tell or to check what kind of trans you have. Just got our 4 flange bolts on and got our drive shaft in. Got our mounts here all tightened up. I'm going to go back and double check these trans mount nuts. But now we're going to start putting the wiring harness and everything back together, start plumbing the fuel lines, throttle cables, and get everything kind of start to get together, at least up on the engine side. What's better than a nice new fuel filter that's fresh? Just kidding, there's a lot of things better than a fuel filter. However, we're getting these switched out. Got a new hose right here. Got a bit of the top end put together. It's just one of my cleaner balance tubes, so I threw it on for the time being. All the harness up here is done. I haven't got the side plugged in of the intercooler stuff routed yet. We're going to finish the fuel system and then we'll get on to the rest of the intake side of this stuff. Well, the sky is not looking too favorable for us right now, but we've got our intercooler piping here in one piece. We're going to get this and our recirc on this side now. Got nearly everything wrapped up for today. So it's the next day. We've got our intercoolers here and ready to put on. This side's all mounted up. This side's next. Pretty much what we're just going to do here. I'm going to move this over here. Well, maybe. We may try to hang it from this or that. If not, we'll just try to find our other side mount. Mount it here like we did the other side. So we've kind of got our PCV hose routed where we want it. This side's hooked up. This side still got one pipe off. I had to mix and match because I don't know if the car's damaged and this is lifted or something. This hose won't fit right at all, so we have to use the longer one out of my red set to complete it. Now we're going to put this conversion bar in with these rubber grommets. Pretty much you put it down here, it'll change the spacing so you can run a TT and an NA application. Had to pull the fan, it was inevitable. I shouldn't even put it on. However, we got a radiator in. Will the hood shut? That side will. Yeah. Sweet. Looks like we're all gravy. That's exactly what we're looking for. If you don't tighten your crank pulley before you putting all that on, you're gonna wish you would have. Unless you have a lift, then obviously you'll be able to do it pretty easily. So we just got our test pipes on, our engine mount nuts. We're just gonna leave this off for now. There's no reason I'm putting it all on and maybe wasting gaskets just to take it back off in the meantime. Now, we go ahead, we open this up, found out this is the one that has our chip in it for all this. So we're gonna throw this in. I may hit up my tuner and see if he can get me a chip that I will be able to use my cell and dual intake. If so, it'll give us a little bit more power if we need it, but if not, I'm not too worried about it. Slap our wooden protector back in. All good. Need a little bit more fuel hose for this. Like I said, we're not going to worry about that till we get it running. This needs to be hooked up to the boost controller. I may just plug it for the time being so we can get our first start. We need 2 bolts up here and to actually torque this balance tube, and I think after that's finished we'll be ready to start. But I think now we're going to go ahead to the parts store so that way we can grab the rest of the hose, 2 T-fittings for the catch can, and go get some distilled water. Actually, before we go to the store, we're going to remove our master cylinder here so that we can see about maybe adjusting the pedal rod, push rod, and maybe fixing this. So this is what we went ahead and installed on this pedal instead of switching it out. Here's our fresh new slave cylinder on, all bled, nice. We're not getting any air when we push through the system. Thank goodness, because we just about ran out of fluid. So clutch works so far. About to start the car. Well, now I know it's actually the alternator fan belt instead of the power steering pump. Here's the throw out. Engaged and on. This off as a green check mark and go to Marion or the next town to grab our rest of our catch can stuff. Hey Dad, let's go to Marion. Good morning. So today I went and got everything this morning so we can finish up the car. I grabbed the 2 T junctions so we can plug in our catch can, another 4 foot of hose. What else we grabbed? We grabbed some hose clamps and zip ties yesterday so we can secure the rest of our vacuum lines so we make sure we don't have any kind of boost leak. Got all that right here. So I've got the old lady's car today while she's at work. And for about 3 or 4 hours, it's 11 o'clock now, because I know the little bit we have left for the Z is not much at all. So I'm gonna get hers wrapped up so I can pick her up. I've got shocks and maybe front brake rotors I gotta do, along with those 2 outer tie rods. So after a little bit of looking, turns out our outers aren't bad. I'll say jack stands would actually make this situation a whole lot less sketchy. I've got pretty much right over here on this side, I've got a stock jack, like a roadside jack for a Z that has the pinch weld cut out. Have it on a reinforced part on this. You see there, got a shock on. Let's pull this one off. I have to say, I do kind of like the design of this. It's a little foolproof and dummy proof. Now that her car isn't finished and out of here, it's time to finish mine. So we just got our radiator hose on, our last boost hose. Went ahead and crimped this on so that way we have power from our cabin to everything. We're gonna hook up an overflow here. We're gonna finish off our mess down here finally. This is something I've been waiting on, because I'm just sick of this whole octopus looking ordeal, and I'm ready to get it kind of where it needs to be so we can kind of tie this up. We are this close. So I originally got this little bracket out because it's a throttle cable bracket. However, cruise control is deleted, so I only need 1 I've got plenty more. I had an idea because I need a bracket to mount this carbon canister. So I drilled this hole out a little bit to fit one of these bolts through. I'll probably bend that back a little bit. But we're going to try to mount it here. We may mount it from this bolt, so that way it's pretty tucked up in here and it's away from the ground, so that way it won't take any damage from a hit or anything, and we'll be fine. It's one thirsty girl. I'm so nervous to crank this over. I don't know if nervous is really the word here. Maybe anxious. It'll be alright just to start it. Not like we're hitting boost. Boost controller port plugged off. Neutral. Make sure I hear the fuel pump. Well, now the gas level's back down. Oh, I have no idea how much gas is in this thing. It's incredibly hard to tell. Coolant's down now. I heard the fuel pump kick on. It appears my extra smart self did not put the starter power cable on. Oops. Now we can see, hopefully. Oh, I took the battery terminal off. Just want to get some Subway to celebrate today's W. I celebrated today's W at that Subway. Huh? Someone's not happy.
We went to Subway because of a coupon.
Yeah, we had coupon to celebrate my dub today. But with that being said, so far everything here has came together pretty well. The only other touch I know offhand is I've got to find someone to weld one of my diffs that I've got. Gonna figure something out with this exhaust, how we can route this, maybe weld something on it, use it, and rig it up to fit. I don't want nothing crazy, just something, you know, something that works, and I don't want to have to ruin a good system to do so. But with that being said, I think I'm going to end the video here. Today we decided the black's still in Z. We're going to part that out. Bunch of things from it that I can say that I need or could use. So that's honestly at this point, financially, it's going to make the most sense. I'm not going to get as much out of it as I want. And kind of, you know, the point of having a business is to make money. And if I'm not going to make money on it, well, I'm going to have to make sure I make money on it. Tons of things that I would love to have for my car or could use for my car. My slick top, my 4-seater, even this drift car. There's at least 5 things a piece for each of these that I know I could use. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to take the rear cut from that. We're going to fix this, take body panels to fix that, wheels for drift spares, brakes for that. So what, 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe even a 5th car that'll have an effect on that I know personally. So something, yeah, kind of sucks. I really didn't have any plans on taking one off the road, but after weighing my options and really what the car's worth, it's probably better to help other cars stay on the road versus try to sell this and just make it something that someone enjoys to drive. So with that being said, it's going to be the end of this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys like what you see, don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe down below, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.